What's up, everybody? I'm Ken. Welcome back to the Shop Mini RC. And today we have got something awesome. Look at this guy. Woo! Look at this. This thing is a beaut. This is awesome. What we have here is the Furitek 124 scale 6x6. And this is the Cayman. It's basically a Cayman style setup. And yeah, this is the Pro ready to run, which means it comes with a transmitter and receiver. Now, this guy is a little pricey. It is $389.99. Now, before we even dive into this thing, I'm going to talk about the price because some people are just kind of beating it up, and I do not understand because I feel like they are not looking at the numbers. We'll come back to these. So this guy at $389.99. I'm going to put up a list right here. Look at this. If we were to build this ourselves, okay? Basically, you've got your FCX24 front and rear axle. All right, you can see the price there. And then we've got our aluminum stock clearance links. Okay, they're $29.99, and that's not even including the middle set, right? Then we've got our steering links. These are aluminum. They're, you know, if you're to pick them up, they're going to be $17.99. On this guy, we're running with the Springbok Servo. The Springbok Servo is $16.99. Then you've got some aluminum hexes in here. I assume these ones are the same as the Cayman and they're aluminum. We'll pull it off, we'll look. We've got our aluminum shocks. We've got our drive shafts. We've got an aluminum skid plate. This is the Grasshopper FCX skid plate that allows for SCX transmissions. We've got the Mini Stellar with the Mini Komodo. This is the new Mini Komodo. This is 2000 kV, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, 1806-2000. That's a 2000 kV motor. Okay, and that's $109 just for this little setup right here, right? And you've got a hardware kit. Let's say that's $10. You've got the Delrin Sliders, and these sliders are awesome, by the way, guys. I need to get some of these for the Cayman because the original Cayman does not come with these sliders, and they are $19. Then you've got your Lizard Pro. This Lizard Pro's got a special plastic case on it, okay? That's $79 for a Lizard Pro. Now, mind you, that's probably a little off because this does not come with the Bluetooth. So we don't have the Bluetooth module on this guy here, which I just noticed you're not going to be able to put the Bluetooth module in with the case. So we'd have to decase it to get to the Bluetooth module. So we might do that just so we can see what Bluetooth settings they've got on here. Either way, that's, you know, even at $69 for the ESC, the Lizard Pro. Then you got the Power Wagon body. So the body is literally just the basic body. It's got no front bumper or the fender flares or, you know, the little doodad that goes here, this guy here. Also don't have the wipers. It's literally just the body. It is the exact body that comes on the FCX Power Wagon. You can pick that up from FMS or Fair RC or any of those places, but the body just by itself is $9 just for a basic body. Okay, so we've got that. Then we've got our transmitter, which we're putting at $30. This is basically kind of the general two-piece transmitter that a lot of different ready-to-runs use. The Mini Bs, Mini Ts all use this. I think even like the Mini Turbo, Tiny Turbo 176 cars use it, and other Horizon brands use this guy. And it's a pretty good basic setup. I think it's better than the TRX4 stock for sure. I mean, that one's a little bit bigger and it feels decent, but the features on the TRX4M transmitter are horrible. I mean, there's literally only the two channels. You don't even have a channel 3. So at least here we've got a channel 3. We can do our trims and our dual rates on both, so that's awesome. You also can't do that on the TRX4. So much better remote than that. I would say it's pretty close to like a FCX24 or the new FCX. It's probably better than the new version of the FCX24 Max Smasher remote. So that's $30. It's good. Comes with the remote and the receiver, obviously. And then we're looking at some plastic wheels and soft tires. Put those at just $9. Actually, we'll need to glue these. Look at that here, because they'll spin on the axle or they'll spin on the rim. So you want to glue these if you're not going to end up putting new wheels on here or anything like that. Almost everybody, regardless of what you buy, you end up upgrading these. And I would prefer to not pay extra for the kit to get certain, you know, bead locks, because they're probably not the bead locks I want, right? So they just put some cheap wheels and tires on here, or at least wheels. These tires actually seem pretty decent. They've got some squish for sure. They do have foams in there. They're a little sticky. I wouldn't say these are the best, but you know what? They're better than stock SCX. They're better than stock FCX. And they're probably a little better than the TRX. The TRXs are bigger. Hold on. So the TRXs, these are actually very similarly designed wheels. That's hilarious. I don't think they're the same, but they are very close. These actually feel stickier than the TRXs. They got a little bit of kind of stickiness to them, just a little bit. TRXs do too, I guess. They're very similar, I guess. Either way, they are probably, of all the ready-to-runs, as good, if not better, than any of the current ready-to-runs out there. So that's awesome. And again, you can just throw your aluminum beadlocks on if you want and use these same tires. So I'd rather not pay the extra for aluminum beadlocks when most of us just swap them out anyway. But it is awesome that it comes with them so that you can just run it out of the box until you decide what wheels you want, right? So again, putting those at only $9. Then let's get to the 6x6 parts, the 6x6 specifics. We got the middle axle, right? That guy's going to cost you another $26. You got the middle drive shaft, $6 there. You've got the extra 2 wheels, so another $4. I put these at $9 for a set of 4x4. So $4 for another set, or $4.50 really. You got aluminum shocks for the rears, because that's another set of shocks, right? That's another $7. And then the chassis, right? We never touched the chassis. The Grasshopper chassis is $59.99. So we figure, this isn't on their site, so I can't find the price, but I figure another $10, $69.99 for the chassis, even if it were $59.99. Look at this. Our total price is $554 to build this guy. Even if you took 10 or 20 bucks off, you're still at take $50 off. You're at $500 to build this guy. $500 for a upgraded, ready to run 6x6, good to go. Like $500 at least, right? So $389 seems like a steal. You're saving over $160. This is kind of for the guy that is, doesn't want to build a 6x6 maybe, that, maybe they're intimidated. Maybe it's only their second rig or even first. This could be a first rig for somebody, right? Like, talk about a high quality first rig. And I keep picking it up because this thing is so light. It is super light, right? And we'll get to that. We're going to weigh it and do all that stuff. So make sure you stick around. We're going to kind of dive into this guy. But for a first 6x6 crawler ready to run for somebody, this is sick. It's just sick, right? Now, again, it's pricey, $389. Some people will be like, I can buy a 10th scale for that. You can buy a box stock 10th scale. And again, it's not for you if that's how you're thinking. This is super upgraded. Everything. I mean, look at the links, right? Like, you can reposition your shocks onto the links. It's all aluminum, all carbon fiber as far as the links and the frame are concerned. Delrin sliders, that's sick. Delrin is super, super strong if you know anything about that. Aluminum links on the front, better than box stock servo for sure. And then this power plant, I mean, this is the number one go-to power plant, right? The Mini or the Micro, any of the Komodos really are just kind of the go-to for brushless power plants. And then of course the Lizard Pro, right? Like, that's the number one combo. And that alone is $100+, right? So think about that. If you're looking at the price of this thing, $389. Well, a lot of that's the power plant, right? Even on the Cayman. Here, you can pass this if you're not interested in price stuff, but I'm going to talk about the Cayman, and I'm going to talk about the other ready-to-run Pro RTR, right? So we have the Cayman slider, and we went ahead and added our wheels and tires and added our ESC and our receiver, and we have a video digging straight into this guy over here. But with this guy, you did have to add wheels, tires, receiver, and ESC. But this guy was $199, and people were like, $199, and it doesn't come with any wheels and tires or ESC or receiver or anything. But again, when you add it up, look over here, boom, it's $320 worth of upgrades. $320, and you don't have to worry about having, finding the parts, making them work. How many times for people that have built a lot, you buy something and then you're like, oh, that doesn't quite fit. I need to adjust something. I need to change things. And for some people, that's part of it, right? Part of it is they love to build stuff. And, if you want to build something, obviously, these new Furitek ready-to-runs or almost ready-to-runs or custom ready-to-runs are not really for you, right? If you want to build your own thing. But if you're short on time, I know a lot of people don't have a ton of time to build a truck, or you kind of want to just get something awesome without having to source the parts, spend the time building it, all that good stuff, then these are definitely for you. So anyway, the basic Cayman slider was $199, basically $320 worth of stuff. Even the Gold Digger, I'll put up pricing here for the Gold Digger. Look at that. That guy was $354, and it only costs $229 on Furitek's website. You're saving $124. It's like the price savings just goes up. The Hyarama, same thing. The Pro, same thing. You can look at the total cost and look at what they're charging and how much you're saving. Again, if you want a ready to run that's a high quality, high end, that can't be beat. And then the new Cayman Pro ready to run, which is basically this, right? But it comes with their receiver and their ESC. But it does come with the Pro, and it is gonna. I think it comes with the Micro Komodo, not the Mini. No, it does come with the Mini. It comes with the Mini. That one again, $500 worth of stuff. Even if you said $450 and it's only $369, so you're saving $130 with the Cayman Pro ready to run, which again is essentially this, like this. Right? I don't think this is going to fit because of my electronics. So you're essentially running like this, except you got the sliders, so they're able to mount their electronics on the sliders, which will let the body sit better. But yeah, you're getting this guy for $100 or $369, which is saving you $130. Guys, don't complain about the price. It's not for you. If you are, I think this is a fantastic price. Yes, it's high, but again, it's quality, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there before we dove into this guy. Kind of ranty, and I apologize, but I see what Furitek's doing. They're putting a lot of effort into trying to give us really cool, high-end ready-to-runs. And, if you don't like what the ready-to-run has, if you don't like these shocks and these links and these wheels and tires, and you want to put your, $60 or $70 or $80 servo in there, then maybe this isn't for you, and just build one from scratch. But if you're cool with this stuff and you like what it comes with, this is a killer deal. I think that this is even a pretty killer deal if you're just looking to change a few things, right? Obviously, we can change wheels and tires, maybe change our shocks, maybe, I don't know. If the servo burns out, which would happen on any truck at some point, is any ready to run, you're going to replace it. You're going to replace it with your higher end servo at that point. But again, you're really paying for this guy and the ESC, right? That's really where a huge chunk of the price is coming from. So, if you don't want the Mini Komodo, if you don't want the power plant and the ESC, then yeah, I think this is probably not for you, because again, that's a huge chunk of the price. But if you're going to buy one of those anyway, I think this is a sick deal. Same with the Cayman, right? We love the Cayman. I think this truck is super capable. It is super fun. We've even got this big heavy hard body on here. But yeah, this thing is just a beast. It's so awesome. And this thing, I'm sure, is going to prove to be the same. 6x6 ready to run. There's not very many options out there. You have like the Atlas, you have the new FMS truck, the Apache, and then you got the Cheyenne. Just kind of for comparison, here's the Apache. It's huge. This is a huge truck, comparatively speaking. The wheelbase isn't that much bigger, but the cab is just giant in comparison. And I mean, this is a totally different class, right? Like this is on its own level when compared to most ready to runs. So that's why you can't compare the price to most ready to runs. I don't care if this thing's $120. It's not even close to what this is. This is more than triple the quality and value and capability of what this guy's going to have. And this is all plastic. It's all plastic. You have aluminum rails, and that's it, right? No upgraded parts. Basically, completely upgraded, with the exception of the wheels, maybe the tires. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's dive into this guy. All right, so we'll start in the front. Like I said, this comes with the FCX24 body, and it's magnet mounted. Only criticism I have here is it's only got the 2 mounting points, which means you're kind of loose on the back. It's probably not a big deal. I feel like potentially there could have been a magnet here mounted on the slider on each side, and then a magnet mounted in here. That would have made their production much more tedious to produce these guys, to get the magnets in there. And I think that it's probably going to be just fine with these magnets up front. I'm not really too worried about it. If you were worried about it, you could find a way to mount the back down a little better. But I think it's probably going to be just fine. Like I said, you could mount it on the slider right here, and then up inside right here. We've done that on another half cab type rig, and it worked out really well. If you were going to be super serious talking about the body, I would probably cut out this body to match the lines of the slider. That way you don't have any chance of getting hung up on there. Also, not a big deal, but again, that's something you can do. One of the nice things about something like this is you have room to customize, without having to spend more money. You can just kind of customize the body, reposition your shocks, do all sorts of stuff like that. And you've got a great platform to really build from if you wanted to build more. But I don't think you need to do much to it. It's already going to be very capable. And again, if you want all the little accoutrements, wipers, the air filter, bumper, slider, or fenders, if you want that stuff, you can pick it all up from Fair RC. Here, let's go ahead and I want to show you something here. These fender flares, or fenders essentially, and the side steps have a one-piece molding. So if you were to try to get that stuff, you're going to have to do some customization and cutting, because this will not fit over the electronics, right? Or you have to move your electronics. So there will definitely be some work needing to be done if you decide to put the fender flares or side steps on there. Not a big deal though. You just cut out the inside and you should be good. Should be able to fit right in there, nice and snug, or move the electronics, like I said. But that's an option. You also have the lights, so you could hook up the lights because you do have an extra channel. These steering links, like I said, are aluminum, and they are kind of chamfered or curved, which is super nice for your approach. You're not going to hit on like a 90-degree angle here and get caught, so that's super nice. They've already moved the screws in the axle. Anybody that knows about FCX axles, there's usually the screw for the C-hub right here. They've already moved them to the back for you, so you've got some really good turn angle, which is completely maxable. The servo will push it all the way. So that's awesome. The Springbok Servo, like I said, is definitely better than your stock servo. We've ran it in the Cayman. It's been awesome. We have no issues. The wiring in here is beautiful. Like, well, I don't know, beautiful is a strong word, but it is very well done, right? Nice and coiled. It just looks good. Everything is nice and tight in there, and it's not just thrown in there like a typical ready to run. So again, that's another thing that comes with that cost, right? Like you're paying for something that looks custom without you having to do custom work. All right, we got the aluminum shocks. The shocks are decent. They're something that I feel like you probably want to oil up a little bit. You don't have to. They feel smooth. But just throwing a little bit of oil on the shaft should help them feel even a little more smooth. They're not oil fillable, so if you put oil in there, it will leak out. There's not... You might be able to throw O-rings in there. Probably not, because you need a case on the outside. Usually there's like a cap that goes on the outside of the oil fields where you can have an O-ring on the outside and on the inside. You probably won't be able to do oil fill on these at all. But you can oil them so they're a little more smooth. Just be aware that when you start to add oil to stuff, you start to add maintenance, right? So now you get dirt and dust in there, and then they'll start to stick, and you got to constantly clean them. It becomes a more high maintenance rig. So we probably will not oil them, but you could, and they'll feel even more smooth. But these feel great. I mean, look at the articulation. You've got plenty. If they're bottoming out the shocks completely, there's no binding. So that's awesome. Super good. None of the links hit. You do, well, I guess right here on the rear you're hitting. You don't bottom out these back ones when you go flat. You hit the bottom of the tray, but again, it's just a little bit until you bottom out the shock, right? So that's bottoming out this shock. So pretty good articulation. Same with in here. You do hit on the tray, but you get full articulation side to side, which is pretty normal because a lot of times it's like you end up hitting on the servo and stuff. This one actually will bottom out all the way before you hit the servo. It's almost touching, almost, but it actually bottoms out the shocks, and then you get your full articulation there as well. So super sick in that regard. The body is very close on the back here. I don't know if you can see in there, but those links do not push the body. It looks like they might touch. Maybe not. Maybe not. They look very close, but they're not pushing on the body at all when you fully compress or fully articulate. Okay, so that's cool. Let's keep going back. These links are awesome. They're adjustable. If you want to move your shocks back to here, you can. They're kind of like trailing arm style links. They put these on all their ready to runs so far. So they've been great on the normal Cayman that we have. The Delrin Sliders are sick. Like I said, we want to get those for the other Cayman. They just give you a great place to mount your electronics, gets it out of here, helps you lower. If you're going to put a low body on there, you can move the stuff, instead of stacking it, move it out, and then that gives you the ability to put your body super low, right? Like, you can fit almost any body on this thing. Go like this, bam, right? Could do all kinds of cool stuff with it. We've got our oh so famous blue Red Bull Adventure Force. I mean, that could be fun, right? You can throw that kind of body on there. Hell, a C10 body. Just chop the back. Extend the bed, maybe. Do something with the bed. Maybe half cab the truck. I don't know. Some cool stuff, but it's pretty awesome. The sliders give you the ability to, again, mount stuff low, and it gives you just a lot of body options. We've got our magnet mounts here in the front, which also comes with the non 6x6 Cayman. Our drive shafts here, they are plastic, but they've got the metal U-joints or ball joints in there. So that is a huge, huge benefit. That's also got a beefy pin. So, I mean, you're not going to easily break that at all. All the links articulate very well. Look how close it is. That is super close, but it's not hitting. So tolerances are getting better and better with these things. Pretty awesome. Got the aluminum skid. Again, this is the SCX mounting skid for the FCX hardware out here. So these are 2mm screws, but then you can use your SCX transmission. You don't need the 2-speed from the SCX because this Stellar transmission and Komodo are just sick. They have really good slow crawl and tons of wheel speed. Here, let's go ahead and battery up real quick. It's on this side. So it's a stock battery adapter on the Lizard here. There's also a power switch, or the on and off switch. And our battery tray. Now you will have to add a strap if you're worried about that, but I think this will stay in there. It kind of tucks in real nice between the ESC and receiver and the frame rails. So you probably don't even need a strap. You could do like a rubber band or your Velcro strap, but I think we're probably fine there. Turn on our transmitter and look at this guy go. Look, this setup is so sick. I mean, how awesome is that? And if you hook up the Bluetooth, you can tune it even more. But yeah, and then you've got tons of wheel speed. And this is 3S capable. You can run a 3S in here and have even more power. Man, this thing's, it's no joke. It's got speed. So that's why you don't need the 2-speed transmission, right? And this transmission, it's a huge upgrade. It's all metal gears, right? That's huge. It's awesome. Again, the Lizard Pro here with our special case. The only downside to this thing, I think, is going to be that we can't just plug in our Bluetooth module. We like our Bluetooth module. We like to go in the app and mess with stuff. So that kind of sucks. We'll have to take that off to be able to do that. But if you're not going to mess with the Bluetooth module, which you don't need to, we haven't messed with it yet, and it seems like the slow crawl is just on point. It's not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal, but we want to get in there just to be able to show you guys what the settings are, if there's any kind of special, if they're set up in any way in the Bluetooth ESC settings. Moving on back, you've got your pass-through axle drive shaft. Again, it's all metal ball joints or U-joints in all those. This is also using, if you notice, it's not just a normal axle, right? Because you have your links attached there. So it uses two fronts, essentially, from a normal, two front halves of an axle housing to create the center axle. And then, of course, our portals. Rear tray here, which is really cool that they've got this center tray dropped in low. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with that. Build something off for the back, build a cage, whatever. Like I like where it sits. It's also tight. I had heard from one of the other guys that got one of these that theirs was a little loose. Mine is super tight, so that's cool. Worst case, if it's loose, all you have to do is tighten this down. Make sure you're squeezing tight on it, or you can add something in there to shim it to give yourself a little bit of tightness so it's not rattling. But really, it's just about tightening this down. Now that I look at it, it does look like this is kind of angled in just a little bit more as you go through here to tighten it in. Interestingly, they're using Phillips heads here. I'm not sure why they chose Phillips heads for that. Maybe just to keep it nice and smooth looking. But yeah, you got your upper link mounting point here, which is pretty cool. I love the way that's designed. It just kind of hangs down and gives you that spot. And like I said, our wheels and tires here. Our tires seem pretty good. Our wheels are plastic. They're not beadlocked, so you will have to glue them, and because the tires will spin. See that? But beyond that, I'd rather them not have glued them. That way, if we wanted to upgrade immediately to aluminum beadlocks, we could. How we have a setting right here we could throw on there. We will probably be doing some stuff to this guy just because we like to always customize stuff. But again, buying it this way, ready to run, add some drips of glue in there, there's nothing else you need to do. Throw your battery in and go. This rig is 100% ready to run, other than the battery, right? So pretty awesome. I do want to see if, I highly doubt it, but our Cayman actually has overdrive in the front. So I'm curious if this has overdrive. Let's do this. Color a lug. Color a lug, just to be sure, you never know. So we've got some markings on our tires. Whoa, bumped it. I'll go ahead and just run it a few rotations here, and they should all stay pretty matched up. Looks like they are. So we have no overdrive. One of the concerns with a 6x6, not this one, but any 6x6, the length makes your turn radius kind of not the best. Even though we are maxing it out, right? Like you're going all the way. You can't really get much better steering angle than that. But just because of the length, it causes less turning radius. So it'd be interesting to throw some overdrive in the front of this and then it would kind of help pull the rig around. And that really would help make it a much more capable crawler up, very steep hills and whatnot. It helps pull. That's kind of the point of Overdrive. Not saying it needs it, because most of the time 6x6s do not need it, but it'd be interesting to try to see if it will help kind of give it a little bit better turning by putting some Overdrive. Probably have to do the Overdrive gears in the portals. That's probably the easiest way to do it on these guys. Anyway, so like I said, the Cayman slider that we got, it has Overdrive in the front. So we just wanted to make sure, and we do not. I'm pretty sure it's going to be safe to say that the portals gears are going to be metal. Let's check. Check the middle axle here. Oh, wait. These must be 5mm. Five and a half. So we actually have plastic hexes on these ones, not the aluminum, but that's negligible. And there are our metal portal gears, so that's good. I just wanted to be sure, because you never know. So yes, they are using the metal portal gears. And again, I assume these are going to be plastic in there, but we can open up this rear axle and take a look. We'll go ahead and pull this rear axle open just to show you. And these just pull off by pulling that screw out, and that gets your portals out. And then you're able to pull the back for and separate the housing. And there you have it. It is the plastic ring and pinion. But that's to be expected. I wasn't expecting it to be metal, But again, you never know. Now, I've been running my FMS FCXs quite a while, basically since they came out. I was one of the first people to get one. And we've been running the plastic diffs since the beginning, essentially. Up until we got the Max Smasher, the plastic diffs, they've been fine. I haven't really had one strip out at all. The plastic portals were a little different story. Those would strip out, but the plastic diffs and ring and pinion, nothing yet. I mean, if you were trying to push like a speed run or something, you would definitely want metals. And if you were going real hard on 3S, getting stuck in rocks and whatnot, then you might end up breaking a tooth or something in there, stripping those out. But they have been pretty reliable, surprisingly so. So I just want to point that out, that I wouldn't expect them to have been metal here at all. What else do we want to look at? I mean, other than we'll get in here and look at the ESC and the Bluetooth. I mean, we know what's in there, everything. I mean, everything's pretty solid. It's a great rig. I mean, as far as how it looks, we're going to run it around, and I'm sure it's going to perform fantastic. We don't run a lot of 6x6s, although we do have a project coming, so keep an eye out for that. We got a very special project coming, and then we also do have a 6x6 build that we're going to be doing here in a little bit. It's the Mias Racing. There's a dually setup they have that I want to try to use on a 6x6, so we're going to see about that. But this guy looks like it's going to be more than capable, and I think if you just get some B-locks on there, give you a little extra weight down low, it's going to be amazing. Let's go ahead and weigh it, speaking of weight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and weigh it with the battery in there, basically ready to go with a stock Scx24 battery. We're at 394, 393, somewhere in there. So that's with our body and everything. We're going to look at this stock guy here. Well, I guess it's not stock. Hold on. There's a stock TRX Defender. Look at that. 531. That is weighty. That is weighty for sure. Here's a stock Max Smasher. 400. Here's a fairly stock Bronco. We added weight to it though. A little bit of weight in the front. 367. So, I mean, again, for a 6x6, 393, 394 seems good. We'll throw this guy on here. It's got wheels. Yeah, we're like 400. It's got the bed and some wheels, and I think it's got flubber stuffers and stuff, so it's a little heavy. But there's that. Let's see the Cayman here. Here's the Cayman with the hard body. Bam, 414 down to 305. So this is pretty close. Mind you, we've got aluminum wheels and some different tires, but still, just shows how light this chassis is, and the aluminum links and all that stuff is pretty lightweight, but it's all aluminum, and so it's super strong. So we're digging that. We some people are all about the heavy rigs. I'm not really about that. Like, I come from a little bit of racing, and in racing, every gram is super important for RCs, obviously. And so we try to pull off as much weight as we can. Any weight that we do have, we want it down low as possible. It's about the ratio of where the weight sits, low to high, and making sure putting a high ratio to the bottom. Same with crawling, in my opinion, is that you want to have a really good weight ratio and front to rear weight ratio at that. What are we hitting on? There we go. So you want to have about 60% in your front, 40% in the rear, and you want that weight to be as low as possible, right? As low as possible. If you can magically take all the weight of the entire truck and put it right at the center of your front axle and rear axle, right there, all the weight magically, you'd want that, right? You want it as low as possible. I guess you could go out wide. You just don't want it on rotating masses. Usually you don't want it on your wheels and tires, even though that's a very popular place to put weight. Usually you just want it on the inside. Anyway, we're kind of going off topic here. So we loaded up our Furicar app to see if it was all updated, and it showed a car. So we clicked on it, and turns out this does have Bluetooth. It's just packed in there. That's like almost like a Lizard Ultimate, not waterproof, but like it's got Bluetooth in the case. That's awesome. They packed it in. I like it. And we are sure it's this car because we set our forward brake reverse just to test. You can change it to just forward with brake, and then you have no reverse. That's for race cars. Anyway, so yeah, pretty awesome. The Bluetooth is all set up here, and you've got your low voltage cutoff. Looks like it's set to none. We like to have ours set to 3.2, really. If you notice something weird happening, like under throttle, it cuts out or something, and you're not low on the battery, it could be your low voltage cutoff. We just want to be safe. We always try to set it. Servo output 5 or 6. We have a 5 for this guy. That's how it's already set. Everything else, these are the default settings. Here's our telemetry. Default telemetry settings. Let's flip this guy over, actually. There we go. I absolutely love this app. It's so good. Looks like our transmitter is already zeroed out and calibrated. We could do another calibration if we wanted, just to show you. 0 speed, okay. Then we max speed, say okay. And we max brake, say okay. And we save. All right, seems good. Our punch is set to 3. Well, we're going to turn that all the way down. We like our punch all the way down so that we have the smoothest curve, essentially. Other than that, everything seems good. All your standard settings. But it's nice to be able to buy the ready to run and just download the app, and you can configure it however you want. Pretty sweet. Brushless Komodo, micro Komodo. So I think that this Mini Komodo is closer to the traditional Komodo, so that's why it's set there. We can check our update. Current firmware is 2.11 or 2.11, and that looks like the most recent. There you go. Yeah, you definitely want that one. And it's already updated, so good. If you're watching this later, there may be a new update. I hear they're coming out with an update to make it even more linear of a smooth throttle. So when you get yours, make sure you check your setting, check your firmware update, see if there's an update. Definitely worth doing every once in a while. And you can change the name. We'll call this guy the Cayman 6x6. Max 8 letters. We'll just call it the Cayman 6. Now when we turn it on, it'll show up. If we got multiple cars on, we'll see the Cayman 6x6. Bam. They should work on that. We need a little bit longer name, or at least have the name show a little better. That's fine. Liz Pro Cayman 6. Pretty cool. We need to get this guy on some rocks, and yeah, we're excited for that. Let's do that now. So we're going to be running some Mofo 3-cell, so 11 volts here, just because, well, we can. Oh, I just want to also, we just kind of, we unbolted the 2 screws on the battery tray and put a rubber band around it, double wrapped it. That's what's going to hold our batteries in, instead of using a Velcro. You definitely need to glue your tires. I mean, you saw it spinning in there. Anyway, this thing is a beast. It absolutely kills the lines. You just need to glue your tires. Yeah, a little bit of scratching going on here. Took a tumble too, but it's been awesome. Like, this thing is super capable. It's crazy how capable it is. I mean, that's 6x6s for you though. Pretty sick. Pretty sick. We're gonna have fun with this guy. You'll see more videos of this in the future for sure. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I really just wanted to show how awesome this thing is, and you know, even though it's a high price point, just what a good value it is if it's what you're looking for. I think the price is right on point of where it should be, especially when you look at, you know, you add it all up like you saw. It also crawls like a beast. I know we didn't have a ton of crawling footage, but we'll get more. It's just, we got like a foot of snow outside, so we can't really get any outside footage. And yeah, either way, this thing is awesome. Definitely check it out. Even if you're not interested in a 6x6, the 4x4 is basically the same thing, just not 6x6. So definitely worth checking out. I hope Furitek keeps improving on their ready to runs, or their custom ready to runs, or whatever you want to call these things. I definitely dig them, and I love that they offer the same rig without the electronics. That way, if you want to use your Noble or your GT5 or whatever, you can save, you know, $30 and just use the remote you plan on using anyway. Definitely glue your tires. I'm sure you saw in the running video, we had a tire pop off, and they were just kind of spinning at one point. But other than that, as far as out of the box, ready to run, there was nothing that needed to be done at all. Like, this thing is perfect. We didn't have to, I mean, I'll put perfect, right? Nothing's ever perfect, but it's very good. We were thinking about adjusting the shocks, then we realized we'd just bottom out even more. We wanted to lower it a little bit, but really you don't need to, because, you know, you could just soften your springs, maybe cut the spring or put a softer spring in there and get yourself some droop if you want to lower it, because you want to be able to keep your max kind of articulation that's going on here. It's got really good travel. So the new Mini Komodo is killing it. Like, it's an awesome motor. I love how low profile it is as far as the length is concerned. You know, it's very short. It's got tons of torque, and obviously it's got great wheel speed. Yeah, I mean, even on 2S, it was still fast. I mean, you definitely don't need the 3S for this thing to be a beast. Again, we're excited to just keep running it. We'll do more videos in the future for sure, showing it off, especially if we go to any events. We'll be taking this guy because we know people want to see it, and we love running it. Like, it's a blast just on our little, you know, rock crawler course thing that we got going on. And if you can't tell from the videos, it might be kind of hard to tell from the running videos, but some of those lines are super, super steep. I mean, we're going up like this. Like, you watch closely and you'll see we're up on 3 wheels sometimes. You know, just the other 3 are off ground completely, and it's trying to hit some angles that are crazy. So anyway, if you made it this far, make sure you put down in the comments below, Cayman 6x6 Pro is fire. Cayman 6x6 Pro is fire. Cue fire. All right, guys, get out there, build something awesome, or just buy it. Just don't break the expensive parts when you run it. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, do all those awesome things you do at the end of a video, and we'll see you guys next time.